Flow Friday Sports Show here on Flow FM, North Central Netball time. And there's only one person that we go to for that, and that is the Big Cheese, the president, Kylie Walsh, who joins me on the line. Great to be with you again there, Kylie. How are you? How are those wintry weather shivers coming through to you there?
Too bad, Alice. We've got grey fluffies coming at us, so it might be wet training night tonight.
Well, fingers crossed. Hopefully it's not a wet one tomorrow when the girls go at it. Let's go to round 11, Kylie, and talk about all the games that went on. We had a number of interesting games. So firstly, we'll talk about Birchip-Watchem in their game against Wedderburn, and it was indeed the Wedderburn that got up in this one, 66-43. So what did you make of that?
Yeah, well, it wasn't a tight game that we spoke about last week, but with the final score, but it was certainly a tight game in the first half, and it was almost goal for goal, but then Wedderburn broke away with 3-goal lead at half time. The Redbacks added fresh legs either end of the court by switching out Eliza and Holly Lockhart running out to goal attack, and then changing their defensive pressure by adding the pace of Olivia Lockhart into defence and bringing Jess Jackson into circle defence. So these tweaks created some headaches for Witchproof Narraport side, dramatically slowing down their ball movement. But Wedderburn have appeared to regroup after a couple of disappointing rounds behind them, and they've rediscovered their gameplay, and they had a comfortable win, as you said, over the Demons, 66-43.
Well, you speak about comfortable wins there, Kylie, and that is exactly what it was for Nullarbor in their game in round 11. So St. Arnaud just not up to it on this occasion, it appears, Kylie.
Yeah, that's right. It was a pretty straightforward game for Nullarbor by the looks of things. And look, St. Arnaud worked extremely hard getting the ball into their attacking end, and then capitalising it. And all credit to St. Arnaud, Nullarbor did have to work hard to score in the final quarter, and it was a better score than the last time they met, but Maroons were too strong for St. Arnaud winning 49-17.
Now, this is not by any means the biggest margin we're ever going to see in netball, but I'm just curious because I wouldn't have thought that St. Arnaud would have been this off the ball. How does it work when you've just got a side that's being relentlessly sort of pressed and, when they're giving up this many goals and without reply? It must just be a really difficult position to be in when you're in this type of scenario. Is it a case of Nullarbor just having all the possession here? How does this sort of come about, Kylie?
I think sometimes it's mindset as well. When other teams have a run and a flow on quarters and with the ball, it's really hard to get your head around being positive and trying every effort to shut down that play. So it's trying to be positive out in the court. And once you get your positive mindset and get a few turnovers and create a better momentum, that's what you're sort of aiming towards in these cases.
All right. Well, we thank you for that analysis, and we'll move along and talk about Bort and Charlton. So in this game, we saw Bort come out comfortable winners. We probably expected it. I think we did, in fact, expect it, but in the end, not the worst effort from Charlton, Kylie.
No, and we did expect it, but I don't think we sort of thought it was going to be a lot closer than it was, particularly from their last meeting. It was very close, and maybe Bort were thinking the same, and they were on a mission not to allow any freedom of play for the Navy. Charlton had some positional changes in the second half, and that was an attempt to create their own momentum through the mid-court and defence, but nothing was stopping the Magpies, in particular their key goaler, Steph Wilson, who once again dictated the circle. So, Bort were far too strong with this meeting against Charlton with a 70-42 win.
Now, you would have had the perfect vantage point of this game, Birchip-Watchem against Sea Lake Nandaly, and I dare say, Kylie, the Birchip-Watchem girls must have been smoking some cigars, the defenders there on the court, because a very easy day out as far as the scoreline went here.
Yeah, so I was courtside for this one, and Birchip-Watchem was certainly up and about after last week's success, and it was wonderful to see Kiana Brooke backing herself in the ring and looking straight at the post and shooting while she was still directing her apprentice Jenna Angel. And it was also terrific to see Bulls Demi Taylor back on the court. She's had a stint on the sideline with injury, so hopefully we'll see her back out there a bit longer each week. But really well done to Tigers. They've got limited numbers this season and a bit less depth than they usually have. So they've got players that have stepped up to higher grades, and they're working well in the challenge. But yeah, the Bulls were certainly strong and dominating the score in the end with a 59-19 win over the Tigers.
All right, well, we'll switch our focus to the ladder right now. Bort first, Wedderburn second, Birchip-Watchem third, Nullarbor fourth, Witchy Narraport fifth, Donald sixth, Charlton seventh, Sea Lake Nandaly Tigers eighth, and St Arnaud ninth. Simple question for you, Kylie. Can Wedderburn catch Bort?
Oh, that's a big call. I think Bort are on fire. Yeah, I don't know how they're going to stop Bort unless anything untoward happens to the squad. But yeah, I think the top four are starting to break away, to be honest, and it's going to be challenging for Witchcrew Narrabort to put their toe in the top four. But yeah, Bort are certainly dictating this season.
All right, let's look at tomorrow's games. Sea Lake Nandaly hosting St Arnaud. Now, between these two, Kylie, an opportunity for one of them at least to bounce back from their poor result the previous week, unless we get a draw, of course. So, who's your tip here? I would lean towards St Arnaud, given the nature of last week's results, but don't know really.
Well, yeah, I'm going to agree with you with this one, Alice. I think this is the game that St Arnaud will have their first win of the season over the Tigers. But I think it's going to be a great game for both clubs after a few tough rounds. But I think St Arnaud will have their first win.
Now, I'm going to make a call here, Kylie. I think the Charlton coach, whoever he or she is going to be sitting there and saying, it is our week this week. We've got fire in the belly. We've just been missing out every week, and despite putting up the fight, we need the 4 points, and we're going to win this week. And unfortunately for you, it may well be Birchip-Watchem on the end of it. So that's my prediction. Feel free to disagree.
Well, I will disagree, but Charlton did win the last time they met, so Birchip-Watchem have found their best combinations for their side and seem to be gelling a bit more each week and creating trust on the court. So, but I don't think Birchip-Watchem should let their guard down. They'll still need to put in a solid 4 quarters against 7th place Charlton. But I think Birchip-Watchem will redeem themselves after their round 3 meeting and will win against Charlton, but it won't be an easy game.
Do Witchy Narraport just put as many players as they can around the semicircle there, the defensive semicircle where the goal ring is there, on this occasion this week against Bort? What do you reckon there, Kylie?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game physically and very fast, but yeah, I think Bort are right on top of their game at the minute, and I think they'll continue to reign at number 1 position and have a comfortable win over the Demons. Well,
Donald v Wedderburn's going to be an interesting one. Do you reckon Donald at home can do some damage here potentially, Kylie, or are you going to go for the easy prediction?
I'm going for the easy prediction. I think the Donald youngsters will be fresh after they're coming off their bye, but they're really going to have to stay composed and not allow too many unforced errors so Redbacks can have some quick goals. But yeah, I think Redbacks will be too strong for Donald this week.
Nullarbor with the bye. Well, before we go, Kylie, over to you. You've got some updates and announcements for us as regards to where the association sits right now as far as the calendar goes. So it's over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, just a few calendar dates for everyone to note. North Central Netball Association are fortunate to have Bree Bentley. She's an A-grade umpire from Bendigo back on our turf on Sunday, the 30th of July in Witchy-Proof. And we usually do this as a pre-finals game of game management and rules, which is a wonderful opportunity and highly recommended for coaches and umpires who are striving for the finals to attend this workshop. But clubs will be given notice of times in due course, but that's certainly one to pencil in. And also another date is, before we know it, our vote count and presentation day will be upon us for North Central, and that's going to be on the 27th of August, Sunday the 27th of August, held at the Birchip Community Leisure Centre. And once again, we'll give out further details of times and other details close to the time. But just if people could put those in, the 30th of July in Witchcrew with Bree Bentley, and our North Central Netball Association vote count and presentation day on Sunday the 27th of August.
Kylie Walsh, President of the North Central Netball Association. Always great fun having a chat with you, and believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, gives up her lunch break, does Kylie, as well, to speak to us, so we're extremely grateful. Kylie Walsh, enjoy your weekend, enjoy the netball, and Keep dry and stay warm.
I'll try my best. Thanks, Alice.